Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing lovely. It is morning over here in Oaxaca City, Mexico. And I just want to give you guys a bit of an update, ideas that I got. And I woke up with a very bothersome thought that I want to share regarding spiritual warfare with you guys. But before we get into that, I want to tell you about what I got coming up. So, ladies and gents, I got an immensity of different topics that I want to touch with you, but I have to begin with the fundamentals. I want to get into high magic, which is eventually working with deities and entities. But in order to get there, we have to lay down the basics, hence Hermetic science. Hermetic science is the intermingling of physical science and mysticism. So if you find these previous Hermetic posts interesting, just wait till you see what I have up my sleeve. Nevertheless, so another thing, I got the High Priestess exposition coming up, and I'm gonna be doing a raffle. I'm gonna be raffling off a Shadowlight Tarot deck, which is the all black tarot deck, which I use on YouTube. All right, it's about a $200 value. Nevertheless, I'm gonna try to kick this off by this next full moon. So be on the lookout for that so you could join the raffle. It's a lucky Patreon is gonna win this, okay? Furthermore, ladies and gents, so I woke up with this idea which was quite bothersome, and it regards Christianity. So Christianity is a wonderful religion, but it's also been heavily skewed and manipulated in such a dark way, which leads its adherents to veer from their own personal spiritual power. Okay? And what I mean by this, look, I was a Catholic when I was a child, and I was brought up as a Catholic. I renounced my Christian faith, or my Catholic faith. I mean, Christian, the same thing, at the age of 16, after making contact with a very powerful entity. Okay? With that said, this forever changed my direction in life, and this experience was the catalyst to me embarking on the left-hand path. Now, the reason why I made contact with this entity was because I've come to understand that I've lived previous lives in which I was a shaman, in which I was a magician, a warlock, a healer, a spiritualist, a witch, whatever you want to call me, ladies and gents. People like me go by innumerable amounts of names. Okay, the name, the title does not matter. What I'm seeking to convey is that I've been on this journey for lifetimes, and with this it comes a sensitivity to the spiritual world. And nevertheless, so I'm just telling you this so you know who you're getting this information from. So after spending over half my life studying spirituality and unfolding myself and doing tremendous work at an obsessive degree, I've come to realize and really get a clear picture which any reasonable person can understand regarding spiritual warfare. Now look, when we describe masculine and feminine energy within mankind, the masculine energy is what we exude when we're out in the world, when we're out in the daylight, when we're working, when we're competitive, when we're out pursuing our ambitions. You ladies watching this have to step into your masculine energy in order for you to excel in this world. I mean, in order to survive, you have to step into that masculine energy, unless of course you're married and you have a man providing that protection for you. But even then, you'll have moments in life where you have to step in and defend your children, or etc. These are just examples. Now, the feminine essence within all of us is the spiritual form, right? It's the quiet one. It's the receptive one. It's the one that's able to listen, the sensitive one. And that is exactly what we need to develop, including us males. We need to develop that feminine aspect in order for us to connect with the spiritual world. Otherwise, if you're just in your toxic energy, otherwise, and if you're just in your masculine energy, then you're completely out of touch, ladies and gents. I mean, furthermore, if we look at the Bible, if we look at Christianity, the ancient texts say that the first wife of Adam was Lilith, and she was not going to accept being subservient to Adam. She said, "No way, I am an equal." And as I say that, it's 444 on the timer. She said, "I am an equal." And because of that, the story goes that she was banished and sent to the infernal realm, or to the darkest edges of the universe. punished by God himself, all right, because she did not want to be below Adam. She said, I am an equal to Adam. Then comes Eve, which was produced out of his. You see, Eve was not created out of the dirt and earth, or rather the earth and the air and the elements as, geez, I'm covered in insects out here, ain't I? Speaking of being created of earth, right? The story goes that Eve was created from Adam's rib. So she wasn't an equal. All right, this is the new story. This is the new version of women. She's not an equal. Okay, furthermore, Eve fucks up and falls into temptations and ruins mankind, gets us all banished from the Garden of Eden. We don't have to dive into the intricacies of how the feminine is suppressed in Christianity, or rather oppressed. But this ramifies in the revulsion of what we're seeing the feminist movement do today. Women are feeling this and they're rising up and fighting against this, but in a very unbalanced and toxic way. Women are wanting to match masculine energy with masculine energy when they're not going to win. Women's power is their feminine essence, okay? And with that said, on the other side of the scale, a man that is out of touch with his feminine essence is a toxic masculine. And not only is he venomous to himself, but venomous to the world around him, the women around him, and the world around him. So this leads us to the idea of having to be balanced individuals, both in our masculine and feminine energy. Now, this human experience is simply the ramification of this spiritual warfare. This oppression of the feminine is not the oppression of women. It is the oppression of the feminine essence, the oppression of the feminine, or rather the spiritual essence within us. So I'm simply telling you this so that you can understand that there is spiritual warfare going on, okay? Look beyond the physical manifestations and dive deeper into the spiritual perspectives of what's going on. It's quite bothersome to me, truly, as Christians say, Jesus is the only righteous Son of God. Fuck that. I am also a righteous son of the infinite creator, and so are you. And if you can't see that, and you proclaim that you are a sheep and Jesus is your shepherd, that's exactly what you are, a sheep. And I want no part of it. Now, that's not to rebuke Christianity. Many people find enlightenment through Christianity. Jesus is the paragon of man. We should all strive to be like Jesus. And Christianity teaches us how to be more like humans, how to be forgiving, how to be loving, so on and so forth, through the example of Jesus. But it also veers us from our own spiritual power. And that's for you to discern. With that said, ladies and gents, I'm simply just conveying this to inspire you to take your spiritual development seriously, as I hope you are, and as I assume you are if you joined this Patreon, okay? And that's really all I have to tell you this morning. Nevertheless, I'm going to be getting into creating the next expositions for you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video.